Here's a quick video to change the brakes on the front brakes on a Kia. Right now I'm working on the passenger side. And the first step is to remove this bolt here and this bolt down here. And it takes a 14mm wrench or socket. The brakes look pretty decent. I'm changing them because they're wearing down, and I was getting a nice little squeal because of the noise indicator, so it's time to replace them. But looking good, smooth. The front's also looking good. Look like they're wearing even. Looks pretty good. Just so you know, for the video, the wear indicator on your replacement pads goes on the inside. Go ahead and remove these. These go in the garbage. And your new pad should come with replacements. I like to spray everything off with some brake cleaner just to get any loose dust. You don't have to though, but I definitely like to clean where the pads are going to be, because I want a smooth contact surface. I probably should have sprayed that off first. Should have done the rotor last, didn't think. So I'm going to let that dry. Alright, this is a good time to check your rotor. Just take your finger and feel that, and if it's pretty smooth and you're not feeling any grooves, do it on the other side too. If it's feeling pretty smooth, that means everything's working out good and you don't need to worry about doing any work on your rotor. But as brakes wear down, if you don't pay attention to it, the brakes will start eating away at the rotor. But these feel good and smooth, and so I don't need to touch them. So these are my new brake pads. I already put a coating on the shim. Everybody has their own method. Some use the grease, some use a spray. Whatever you want to use, it's up to you. It's personal. But it's supposed to help reduce the squealing possibility. So I already pre-sprayed mine, let them dry. So they're going to be ready to go in. And this one, since it has the squealer on it, this one goes on the inside. First thing I'm going to do is put in the brand new shims, or whatever you want to call them. They really only go in one way, so you can't mess this one up. You just got to make sure that they are on all the way and they're up tight. Some people will say, I guess it depends on whether you want to lube, put some grease on there, which would be in these landings right here, where the ears would travel. They go in like that, right? And they slide along as you use your brakes. And some would put grease in there. I did look in the manual and it doesn't mention it. And I am purposely choosing not to anyway, because of the possibility of how these are located, etc., that they would just get, the grease would attract a bunch of dirt and then keep them from traveling smoothly. Since the new ones are brand new and coated well, and plus, since my other ones were weared, the brake pads weared evenly, I'm not going to do it. And I'm pretty sure I didn't do it last time either, because I don't see any traces of grease on there. So that's personal. Do whatever you want. I'm sure people swear I'm putting the grease there, and in some places you do, but I'm not going to. One other quick thing to look at that you would grease are these right here. Okay, so test yours out, and if they squeeze nicely and they bounce back, that one was hard at first. That one's a little hard. So if yours are like super duper stiff, what you would do would end up taking this boot off and then pulling the whole bolt out, and then you would apply grease to it, making sure not to put any grease on the very tip of it, just here in the middle part, and to make sure it slides good. So I might look at that here, but anyway, that's the other part that you want to check. But if they bounce good like that one, you're probably good and you don't need to do anything further. You can just put the pads in. I'm going to go ahead and clean that grease off and put some new grease on, just because it was a little stiff. So I went ahead and cleaned it off, put some more grease on. Don't put any on the tip, because you don't want to, you just want to leave that gap at the end. Just trust me. So anyway, just don't put any grease on the end, but I put some grease there, and that's all I'm going to do for now. And then I'm going to slowly put it back in. There, it's done. If I would have had more time and I really would have been worried about it, I probably would have cleaned inside there and tried to get some out, but I'm not. So I'm just not going to do it. So anyway, so there we go. Got my shims in. Put the inside one in. Goes just like this. The curve obviously is towards the inside curve is obviously towards the inside, so this is going to be the part that goes down. And all you're doing, since you can see better on this side, you're just fitting the ears into each of these grooves. That's all you're doing. One there, and then one here. Gonna end up using the new springs, which the problem here, just so you know, it's gonna kick these out a little bit, but that's fine. But these go in just like that. And see, it's starting to spread them out. But that's where we just take, oh, I forgot one major part. And it is, one thing you need to do is you need to push the piston back in. So what you do is you take the old pads, put them in, and you can use C-clamp, you can use whatever you got. I have this little tool, it gets me by, and it just spreads it. One other thing you want to do is make sure your brake fluid reservoir has room, so go ahead and loosen the cap. So go ahead and loosen the cap and set it up on top. And you want to make sure that here's your max level. Here's your max level. You want to make sure that you have room, because as you compress that cylinder, the fluid's going to go up. If you're already full, you better get a turkey baster or something and put it in there and suck some of that out. There's all sorts of tools people have. If you don't have anything, screwdriver, except the hard part is trying to keep this thing steady. But worst case scenario, but honestly it's easier just to go to a cheap store and get a C-clamp or something like that. That'll totally help you. And you just put the C-clamp here on the inside and then just tighten it down and it'll, but use the brake pad, the old one. My tool doesn't quite give me enough, so I need to put in a little more space. There. Pistons all the way in. Take these out. Just blow any dust off, and then you're just going to take this. See now how it's flat in? It's pretty much even with it. That's what you're looking for. Then you're going to take it. Then just get this top bolt in, and there, now it'll hold it. Go ahead and take both your bolts, put them in by your finger first, so make sure you don't cross thread anything. And manual says 16 to 23 foot-pounds. So grab your torque wrench, set it to anywhere in that range. I just like to tighten the bolts up a little first. Done. So that's it. Then now you can go ahead and put your tire back on, torque the wheel nuts down to anywhere from 80 to 100. As you can see, here we are now. We were down here before I compressed that. So when you compress that cylinder that I just showed you, it's going to raise the fluid up. And I'm still below the max, so I'm good. And I can make sure you go ahead and put your cap back on. And we're good. So I'm going to put the tire on and be easy on the brakes. Make sure they get worn in and settled in, broken in, and go from there. But that's how you change the front brakes on a Kia.